My name is Major Jared Nichols. I'm the Battalion Executive Officer of 1st Battalion, 16th Infantry.
Can you spell your first name for me?
That is Jared. Last name Nichols, Nichols. Well, currently we are part of the U.S. contingent participating in the 2017 Bastille Day Parade, which is an annual parade held in Paris, France, which celebrates their commemoration of the beginning of the overthrow of their monarchy. And this is this American contingent is here to commemorate the 100th anniversary of U.S. forces entering World War I. Personally, it's significant because as a student of history, you realize here in the late 20th century that everything that we deal with kind of today kind of comes from those events from the early 20th into the late 20th and now into the 21st century. So, to understand today's modern world, we have to understand kind of the reason why World War I occurred and the aftermath of it, because it touches us in very significant ways. And then personally, I have veterans in my family that served in World War I, particularly in the American Expeditionary Forces. So my service today, in fact, me even being alive today, would not have been unless they survived that war. A great-grandfather.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about
Yes.
his story too, please?
Yeah, so my great-grandfather on my mother's side was a private first class in the American Expeditionary Force. His name was Rupert Faust. He served as a medic in the 8th Evacuation Hospital and primarily dealing with clearing casualties off the battlefield and providing first aid. So he served in the Meuse-Argonne Offensive and the Somme-Hale Offensive. So as a reminder, when my grandmother passed away and I was joining the Army, the first kind of gift I received from her side of the family was his personal effects. So I maintain at my home his uniform, all of his documents, his dog tags, and then I have a photograph. And that photograph just kind of hangs at the front door, and I kind of see it every day before I head to work. I don't think I'll know how I feel about this whole event until after it. We're very much focused on providing a very good performance, both to demonstrate the professionalism of our own military, and then also to kind of show pay respect and homage to one of our greatest allies, the French nation, who since 1776 has stood by our side in almost every conflict. So to be here to both really celebrate their nation and their independence, and then also to commemorate our entrance in a war to support them and the rest of the allies is kind of a great experience. And then I don't think the entire totality of that will I don't think we'll understand it until after the day of the parade. I really think a lot of our service members, to understand, sometimes, our day-to-day jobs can be hard and they can be tiring, and you get frustrated with work, but I think events like this kind of help service members understand, why we joined and why we serve. And I think it's, it's a great event for a lot of those young soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines to really kind of take a step back and understand the bigger thing they're a part of. And that gets lost a lot of the time. Being in the military or being the spouse of someone in the military is a hard thing. And I think these are those sort of events that really reaffirm our commitment to our nation and reaffirm our service to our respective branches of the military. Oh, yes. So actually, do you want me to actually have them? Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. So like most service members, we all wear dog tags with our respective branch and information on it. And, heaven forbid they actually have to be used for their intended purpose. But, it's something that we carry with us. And as a good luck charm, I've carried a set of my great-grandfather's and my grandfather's dog tags attached to mine just in case. And so through a couple of my tours of Iraq and all my other deployments, I always have them with me just kind of as a superstition or good luck charm. So this is a set of the tags right here. So one has always stayed at home, and then the other one goes with me on every deployment. So that's the shiny one here. And that's mainly because I think I've sweat all over it at one point or another. But it's, when days are kind of feeling really bad, it's just one thing I can kind of pull out and just look at. Think for a second and then refocus and just get back to work. So I think it's something that helps. Everybody needs something to help center them sometimes, because said not every day is a good day in the military, but you know, why we're here and understanding why you're here and where you came from is really important. Oh yeah, sure. You know, I think, you know, in America we really focus on like the World War II as one of our biggest conflicts, and I think sometimes we need to look back at World War I a little bit to really understand the importance of that on our nation. World War I is where the United States really stepped forward amongst all the other nations of the world at that time to really be a leader. And it's the first time our nation really kind of expanded outside of its borders to participate in a greater global conflict. So, you know, it's very important for us to understand that that's where a lot of our nation really began as an international presence, and that continues to this day. So, I mean, really 1917 not only commemorates that first service of our nation really in force overseas, but also the United States finally taking on the role as a leader in the world. And so, you know, it's been 100 years, and hopefully there's 100 or 200 more after that.